Good morning, everyone. Beautiful day here in Spring, Texas. You know, I was watching the local news the last 2 days, and most of it's been eat up with the 5-year anniversary of Harvey, which was devastating to the Houston area, along with a lot of other areas also. But since I'm in the Houston area, that's what I'm talking about. Now, after the floodwaters had gone down in and around Spring, Texas, I went to my house at the time. My parents had died. They had left me their house, thinking I was going to come up to a flooded house. But thank the good Lord that the water did not get in the house. I mean, it flooded the garage, which was normal, and the water line was up on the brick ledge. But the way the house is built, I don't know if they were built like this all that time, but the brick ledge was not the bottom of the house or the floor inside. The brick ledge was about 6 inches lower than the floor on the inside of the house. So that whoever thought that up or did that saved me tens of thousands of dollars. So on the way back, I stopped by a dear friend of mine. I've known this person probably longer than any person I've ever known. And her and her husband's house had somewhere around 56 inches of water in it. It was totally devastated. So Jan and I stopped there and we started helping gut that house. And we gutted that house for 4 days, I believe. And finally got it all cleaned up and had my dear friend and her husband's wives, who at the time was probably married 35 years. I think we married 1 year apart, them before us, and their entire lives were sitting out in the ditch. Now, they were fortunate in the fact that they had insurance, that, you know, they weren't hurt. They were safe, thank God for that. This person's very dear to me. And they had a place to go. They had clothes on their back. That was about it. I don't know if they were having anybody try to salvage what clothes they had in there or not, but the important thing is they were safe. They were able to go to their daughter and son-in-laws and start regrouping. Now, I say all that for a couple of things. And I'm just speaking of here on the Gulf Coast. I know everybody has different preparations for stuff in whatever area that they live in. But here in the Gulf Coast, it's common practice that everybody should have a month supply of water, a month supply of food, a month supply of propane, barbecue wood, firewood, generator, chainsaw, stuff like that. That is an SOP for living down here in the Gulf Coast. Now, if you're in an apartment, obviously you can't keep all that. But the more important thing is you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan on if something like that happens, regardless of whether you have a fire, a flood, a tornado, whatever it is. You have to have a plan of somewhere to go, somewhere to evacuate. I heard on the news, watching the news this morning, and people were whining about, well, they told us we have to evacuate our neighborhood, but where do we go? They didn't tell us where we needed to go. Let me tell you something. Government is not coming to your aid. It's up to you to protect your family, your loved ones, your pets, your property. Government is not coming to your aid. People were talking about, I called 911 and no one was there. Did you ever think about that? You're going to call 911 for whatever your emergency is, and no one answers the phone. What about if your house did survive, and you say you're out of power, but you stayed there? Well, let me tell you something. 911 is not coming to your aid if someone's going to come take your stuff. You got to be there to protect it, because guess what? Cops ain't coming. Your problem is not their problem. They got a whole bunch of other stuff to deal with. They got their own house that may be flooded. They need to take care of their family. You think they're going to come to your aid before they take care of their family? No, that's not going to happen. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't do it either. But if you don't have a plan on somewhere to go, a friend, a family member, somewhere 100 miles from here, 50 or 100 miles from here, that wasn't affected by that storm, you need to find somebody. You need to have a couple of $1,000s on hand in case you have to run to a motel room. Even if you just need to rent that motel room to take a shower and clean up. I know after Harvey, Ike and Harvey, we were out of power for 2.5 weeks. No power. And then even after it came on after that, which I thought was pretty quick compared to some of the people, it was iffy for another month or so. You didn't know whether or not you were going to have power when you came home. You didn't know whether or not your freezers were still going to be cold enough to keep thousands of dollars of meat that you have packed in there. So, have a plan, people, because 911 is for emergencies. 911 is not for getting you out of a neighborhood. You need to get a coalition of people on your block that has a place to go. Somebody that you know that has a boat that can get you out. I don't have a boat. I have no use for one. But if I had a place to keep one, a little John boat would be great in that situation here in Southeast Texas. I do have four-wheel drive pickup. It's not one of them jacked up monster trucks, but it will go through a flood. I've been through water where the water's come over the hood of my pickup, and it's never failed me, aka Toyota Tundra. Not so much about the new one. Mine's 7 years old, almost 10 years old. 10 years old. It's got 206,000 miles on it, and I trust it more than I do a new one. That being said, folks, the government doesn't like you being self-reliant. The government wants you sucking on their tit the entire time from cradle to grave. They're not going to come to your aid in an event of an emergency. They're just not. So, your standing operating procedure should be exactly what I said at the beginning of this video. It's up to you to protect your family, your friends, and your pets, and your property. Now, if I got people that need something, you bet. You come to me and I'll help you out. I'll give you what I have. Food, water, shelter, propane, whatever it is that you need to get you through this hump, because you might have some extenuating circumstances that you might have not been able to prepare for that. But don't come and try to take it from me. You take it from me and we're going to have a problem. And that goes the same with other businesses around here. You go loot a grocery store, you're going to have a problem with that. I will stand there and defend that grocery store. I will stand there and defend the pharmacy. I will defend the auto parts store, whatever that is. Because there's takers out there. And worse, there's looters out there that don't give a rat's ass about you or your stuff. They don't prepare because they say, well, we'll just go take his stuff. So you need to be prepared in all aspects of that. So on the anniversary of this hurricane, catastrophic event, by the way, global warming had nothing to do with that. We get hurricanes all the time down here in the Gulf Coast. Been relatively quiet this year, which is a good thing. Just keep that in mind, people. It's up to you and your family and your friends to take care of each other. It's not up to the government. God bless y'all. God bless Texas.